It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you're watching First Warning Live. We focus on all things weather, and because we get hungry from time to time, we're sponsored by Marco's Pizza, which, by the way, has a great deal of the week, and they're giving away free pizza tomorrow. Maybe your name is attached to that certificate because we're going to send them by way of the U.S. Post Office. And if you registered for a pizza, a free pizza, your name might be drawn, and we'll be passing those out tomorrow to 10 individual people. And then one person will get pizza for a year. That's one topping, one large every month for a whole year. It's like crazy town. I know, it's great. By the way, Some Like It Warm. I guess I was trying to play off Some Like It Hot, you know, that movie back in the 60s. But find out how long it will last, because it's not going to last forever. Oh, did I catch you off guard? You mean you thought this was it? We're just going to sail into the 70s land all the way into spring and summer? No. We're not likely. But it was nice. I mean, 44 degrees came at what time? 1:35 a.m. Norfolk hit 44 degrees at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's pretty early in the morning. Now, if you take a look at where we are now, let's go ahead and do the little doo-doo-doo. Let's go. Let's do the rise of the temperature, right? So there's 1 o'clock. There we go. Whoa, stop the clock. What time is that? That's 3 p.m. Our high temperature today came in at 3:06, according to the records at the airport. So if you think about this, 73 here at, say, 3 o'clock. They said we hit 74 now. So as of just about 6:30, just before 6:30, 6:27 to be precise, they decided we were not going to have a high of 73. We're going to go 74 for Norfolk, but then we cooled like 10 degrees the very next hour. It's amazing. By 3, 4 o'clock, we dropped 10 degrees because of a northeast wind. If you were very observant and noticed that we dropped 10 degrees in an hour, congratulations. But it stayed kind of cool where? Along the eastern shore. In fact, you can see some blue coloring here. It's kind of chilly. Some areas up in the northern neck, kind of cold for relative to the mid-70s in Hertford. It was 76 at 3 o'clock this afternoon in Edenton. But I am curious to know what you are seeing. If you're on the call, would love to say hi to you. I got some other notes that might be on here. I got Marilyn Bell, says beautiful day here in East Tennessee. She's in East Tennessee. Amazing how weather there can sometimes work its way here. Kim Thompson-Jones says, hi, David, beautiful day. I agree. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as it were. I guess that pull a little Mr. Rogers there. But look at this. I mean, we did cool down into the evening, but we did manage to hit 74 degrees. And that was officially reported at 3:06 p.m. 74 Myrtle Beach, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, 75. I'm sure Myrtle Beach was warm too. Manio hit 72. Wallops Island struggled, getting into the low 60s. So it really depended on where you were, but certainly 70s were more common in many of our neighborhoods. And is this going to continue in the short term? Yes. Absolutely. I think we have the potential to warm up. I mean, there are some indications we could be 4 or 5 degrees warmer tomorrow. I would put us about 78, 79. I think by and large, many of us will be in the mid to upper 70s the next couple of days. So spring fever has sprung. I said it would happen on Wednesday, and now, lo and behold, we've got a beautiful day tomorrow, a little bit of morning fog, which we'll examine, but there will be a little bit of a pullback. Sunday to Monday, we have a chance for some rain and a front coming in. That will be the determining factor. A little bit of rain coming in, especially on Sunday afternoon. I've upped the chance to 40%. I think that's probably reasonable. By the way, the last time we hit 70 in Norfolk was January 10th. It was a record high. I believe it was 75, and we had 70s on the 9th and the 10th, but the last time we were at 80, which I don't think we'll hit, but some might flirt with it in Ahoskie or Edenton this week, and other areas in inland North Carolina, Virginia, but October 7th, you got to go back then, and then September 25th was the last time we hit 90 degrees officially. Now think about that. Pretty long time ago. Now, if you are waiting to get in the water, we had the polar plunge. When did we do that, Aldrich? Oh, we did that a couple of weeks ago. Our own Kurt Williams, he and thousands of other people, I think it was like maybe hundreds, got into the water when it was icy cold. It felt like it was 12 outside. I mean, if it's in the 70s, okay. But many of you might want to go fishing. Ooh, now you're speaking my language. Fishing's good. You know, you could go fishing this weekend, but maybe you don't want to swim in the 40-degree temperatures. I get it. Some of you would like, I don't want to do that, but you wouldn't mind being on a Saturday, hanging out by the beach, 78 degrees with a southwest wind 10 to 15. Low to moderate rip current risk. I don't know who's going to be swimming in it, but some people might. You never know. They'll put their feet in the water just to say they did it. Surf heights about 2 to 5 feet. And I'm looking at Saturday here. You're going to find similar outcomes and output for tomorrow and Friday, but Saturday about 2 to 5 feet for surf height. Now, what about the pollen? I mentioned this yesterday. The big culprits on the most wanted list would be the trees: juniper, elm, maple. Ooh, boo. Yeah, they come alive. Not to the sound of music, but the sound of warmth. And we were warm today. We're going to be even warmer. And this will be cumulative. So if you're wheezing and sneezing, your neighbor is next to you. And they're like, are you all right? Are you feeling okay? You want to take your temperature? And you go, oh, I think I got tree pollen allergies. But if that's the case, no cause for alarm. I'm not a doctor. Check with your physician. But just know, that could be the culprit. That could be the culprit. We'll talk more about that in the days to come. But you know there's a big game tonight. The big game tonight against the Steelheads of Idaho. Idaho? That's a pretty long flight. Yeah, I don't think they drove. But if they did, all the power to them. They're a hockey team, minor league hockey team, playing our Norfolk Admirals tonight. And they're in the scope. So our current conditions outside of the scope would be in the 50s and 60s. We have a light wind at 5 miles per hour. Just want to check in with you. I'm checking the comments. I got Marilyn. I got Kim Thompson Jones on here. Everybody happy everybody's watching. If you are watching and have some questions, now would be a good time to import your questions that you might have. I believe I have some comments, maybe older comments. But yeah, I think this comes full circle from Bobby. News 3. Good weather, I agree. And it's, maybe a follow-up, Bobby, with a hey-oh, hey-oh. Yeah, I think it's good weather. Now the question is, how long will it last? I think we probably have till a week from tomorrow. Then we're going to see a bigger pullback. Won't be necessarily bad, but it will be a change. It will be, again, not consistent with the pattern that we're seeing right now. If you like the 70s, I think a lot of people do. Some like it warm, maybe some like it hot. We're going to drop a little bit, I think, a week from tomorrow. That would be around the 12th of March. By the way, visibility, this may be the other story. It's not a problem right now. Lowest visibility right now appears to be in Wallops at 5 miles. Newport News has 8. But might we see some fog in the coming hours? This represents 9 o'clock. Maybe it's ahead of its skis, but it suggests visibility down in the eastern shore about a third of a mile. If that's the case, if you are on the eastern shore, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you. Just checking in with you and see that maybe the fog will be an issue first thing in the morning. Now, that's midnight, drops to a half mile in Norfolk and Virginia Beach right here. And watch the Manio. Let's see what happens by tomorrow. Yeah, they drop 2. So the Albemarle, less than a half mile. Again, this is model driven. It's not precise, but it does give us some guidance that there could be some peninsula reduction of visibility and maybe the eastern shore and the Outer Banks. So a little bit of fog tomorrow morning. That's 3 a.m. Take me to 6 or 7. There's 7. 7 is when the magic time when a lot of folks are on the road, right? They're out the door maybe at 5:30, 6, 6:30, 7, or even 7:30. You may find more fog in the Albemarle, and you may find it more pronounced along the eastern shore. It looks like it's improved here in Norfolk, but again, that's just the graph model's interpretation of what may be transpiring. By the time we hit 9, 10 o'clock, it seems like it's vastly improved, with the exceptions of the eastern shore and also the Outer Banks. Just checking in with you. I'm looking at the comments. I very much appreciate your time and willingness here, but I want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. And I'm talking about the deal of the week. If you get hungry, and I get hungry from time to time, the best deal goes to our First Warning Live viewers. Corporately speaking, $8.99 might be the price, but they have lowered it another $1 for our First Warning Live viewers. Thank you for the support of First Warning Live. The promo code is our call letters, WTKR, and then you're going to tack on an M for medium. So any one-topping pizza that you can think of that they happen to sell, I don't know, pineapple, pepperoni, sausage, green pepper, mushroom, black olives, whatever you want to put on your pizza, and as many as you want, they'll offer it to you for $7.99 if you put M799 in the promo code. Isn't that cool? I think that's really cool. We're also going to be excited about these are the 6 locations that you can get that $7.99 pizza, medium. But if you want to sign up, there's still some time. Tomorrow is the night. We're going to announce, as we do most Thursdays, every Thursdays we announce the winners. And your name might be attached to the all-important and all-special pizza for a year certificate. So if your name is selected, your name would be typed up here, and you would have one for March, one for April, right through the rest of the year, and then you get January, February of 2027. That's one large, one topping pizza for free, and you can put it on your refrigerator to remind you under a magnet, and you'll be the envy of all of your neighbors. Make sure you check out the Bozzoli. The Pepperoni Magnifico could be that $7.99 pizza if you decided to go that route. But to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com. Marcos. So very happy to have them as a sponsor. Again, very thankful that you're here. I'm just checking some comments because some of you may have something you're just wanting to know. And I got Deborah Agostino, if I said that right. She says, gorgeous day. I agree. Deborah, I'm wondering, how did you spend today, and will you do it again tomorrow? If you said, I walked my dog a little bit longer today, because remember, we're losing an hour on that sleep pattern this weekend because we will be changing the clocks. I have no control over it. I'm just the messenger. Some people say, can't you change that? No, I can't. I have no change in that. But you might be able to change it, I guess, if you rattle the phones of all the Congress people, because I'm sure they've got nothing else better to do than to worry about the daylight saving time going into effect. But I get ahead of myself. I'm a fan or proponent of going a half hour and leaving it alone permanently. But nobody listens to me. I've been saying that for 20 some years. By the way, Exmoor, looks like you got a sprinkle in your future there. Let's a current picture, and we can put the loop here. So there are some showers in the forecast tonight, especially for the Eastern Shore and for the peninsula. So if you're in this area, you got a chance for a shower. If you're not in that area, you probably have a chance for some fog developing before morning. Now, because of this front, we call it affectionately the backdoor cold front. You get this northeast wind, dropped our temperatures a full 10 degrees in 1 hour between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. today. So we went from 73 to 63 in 60 minutes. It's amazing how that can happen when the wind direction changes. But ultimately, a southwest wind will prevail tomorrow. So fear not, it will get toasty again on Thursday. That I can assure you. Warm enough to say mid to upper 70s. I think we can assume that will be the case in most neighborhoods, the Eastern Shore being the exception, or at least one of the exceptions. Right along the Outer Banks may also struggle to get to that type of warmth. But when you see this large, and it is a very large area here, the warm sector, all this warmth still has to ride into town, and that's why we are bullish. First Warning Weather Team is bullish that we're going to have some warmer air still on the way. Let me take you through tonight. Futurecast shows at 11 o'clock. Most of the rain opportunities seem like they've moved off the coast. There's not a whole lot here, but it is now 7:52. This will take you to 7 a.m. Some of that very thin, light gray shading would be fog or low clouds that I think will scour out and become more hazy sunshine through the balance of midday. Then once we get past midday, it might even get brighter still. As you can see, the graph model, which is the name of this particular model, is hyperactive, right? It's got all this crazy rain out here. It's sitting out here. It's probably because it's like a marine layer, low clouds. That's how it's interpreting that. But by the time we hit 11 o'clock tomorrow night, we're kind of partly cloudy and maybe becoming mostly cloudy by Friday morning. Maybe a hint of rain. I left a 10% chance on Friday. It looks like the best chance might come in at night in Williamsburg. But this is not night. No. It is noontime on Friday at the top of your screen. But what happens once we go toward 5? Now we're starting to see these little cells begin to populate. And if I'm not mistaken, the last run or two of this particular model brought a thunderstorm or two maybe near Williamsburg. Nope, now it's fizzled. Now I don't even see the redness anymore. But I do see a few showers, but that's mostly at night. On your Friday night evening plans, you might have to carry an umbrella or just run for cover because a scattered shower is moving by. Watching the weekend, though, the European model shows this again, very dry outlook. A lot of this is more model noise. It's more widely scattered. It's just the interpretation. But you can see, even as we start the morning on Saturday, I don't have a lot of expectations for rain. Most of it's off the coast, and that's the way we like it on a Saturday. Maybe you'll be fishing. But by the time we hit 5 o'clock Saturday, up to 10%, I think that's probably generous. Most of it's going to be down here in the Morehead City, Jacksonville, and Wilmington locations of southeast North Carolina. And I would suspect that we're probably going to get a dry Saturday. But come Sunday, different story. What did I say would happen Sunday? Sunday we'd have some afternoon showers, and it looks like it lines up right overhead by 1 o'clock and through the afternoon. So a 40% chance of some rain developing on the second half of your Sunday. And of course, that's the day that we will have already changed the clocks, and people will be grumpy because of the changing of the clocks. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you have a different viewpoint on the daylight saving time, let me know. I'm just checking in with some comments. I have Deborah. She says, you went for a very nice walk with my dog. Well, see, I'm sure your dog, he or she, probably appreciates that. I know that my dog likes to get the exercise, and my dog, if she... DuPoint is her name. I know it's a crazy name. We just call her Dewey. DuPoint gets under the bed or in the laundry room if thunder is cracking. So if we got thunder outside, I can almost assure you that my dog is one of two places, either the bed or in the laundry room, and just shivering. And then I don't like that for my dog, but then again, a lot of animals don't like thunderstorms. I get it. It's just part of the territory. But we're just checking in with you. We were talking about the rain opportunities for Sunday. That's there on the screen. Could we just get today's forecast to tomorrow? There it is. There it is. I didn't want to delay any further. This is tomorrow, my expectation anyway. There will be some sunshine tomorrow. I put patchy fog and sun, went a little bit overboard on the icon, so I think patches of fog will be possible. But even still, 53 seems reasonable. Temperatures may rise a bit. But even still, noontime tomorrow looks pretty sweet. Yesterday, I made this strong recommendation. If you could get, I don't know, between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. today, off from work or school, it would pay high dividends with some sunshine. I believe that was the case because we heard after 3 p.m. the temperature dropped. 77 is where I expect to be tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy. And again, winds only about 5 to 15, but the sun will be setting tomorrow night at 6:03. Just checking in with you. So glad that you all are here. So that's Thursday's planner. Did I mention we're moving the clocks forward? Yes. Did I mention it's the 47-hour weekend? Yes. Did you know that doesn't happen until 2 in the morning Sunday? Yes. So if you're out late, having a good time, hanging out with friends, no worries. But this is the payoff, right? This is the sunset time. So Deborah, you get to walk your dog a little bit longer compared to where you can today or tomorrow. So tomorrow's sunset 6:03. By Sunday, this is the now versus Sunday expectation. So once we move forward, 2 becomes 3 on March the 8th. The sun will be setting in Norfolk anyway at 7:06. So, I mean, some people love this. Keep adding some minutes. Makes it a little bit better. Once we get into April, I think we'll be really living large because April is kind of like August, right? You think about August, you're losing minutes. It seems pretty fast by the end of the month. But at least April, it's kind of like in reverse. You start adding more minutes, and that's always a blessing if you have something like a seasonal mood disorder. Today's high revised from the Weather Service 74. 83, the record high from 2004. We've had 2 days above normal and 2 days below normal, but I think this is going to be up and away. And even still, if you're in the upper 60s, low 70s, you're still above normal. So this is going to be a vastly different month as compared to the way it was last month. And if you forgot what last month looked like, we had 18 days in February below normal, and we started the first 9 days in the cellar. We started the first 9 days of February. Cold. It's like, could we get a warm day? I believe we had one warm day. It was at 69 and 66. It wasn't really that warm, but all things told, we kind of recapped winter last night. So check it out on the live stream if you want more facts and figures on winter 2025-2026. 53 is our current temperature as of 8 o'clock. This is roughly the new update here. It's 49 in Hampton and 49 in Newport News. So you can see what a big difference that front has caused our temperatures to drop. Pecostin, you're at 48. Elizabeth City, the harbor of hospitality, is at 59, while Nags Head is currently at 63 degrees. I'm just checking in with the comments. Appreciate all of your time as you are watching this with me, and I appreciate you watching. Let me see if I can put this on my screen here. Yeah, I like to see the comments as they come in there, but I got Taj Brown being requested to appear from Kim Thompson-Jones. She says, long as it isn't in the 20s or 30s, I believe is her comment. She said, I can handle it. She says, long as it isn't in the 20s and 30s, she's okay. I think you'll be fine. This even pull back next Thursday. I'm talking about the 12th, probably the night of the 12th into the 13th, Friday the 13th. We'll see a little bit of a pullback. I wouldn't be surprised if our highs are in the 50s, maybe in the low 60s. It will be a lot cooler. So the spoil factor is pretty high when you can be in the 70s for day after day after day, which some of us had a taste of today. Anyway, Franklin, right now you're at 58. Hereford's at 60. These are our current readings, I might add, at just about 8 o'clock. And if you look for some cold air, you can see it in purple, but it's way at the top of the screen there in parts of North Dakota and Canada. Now, time for some weather trivia. Love this because this gives me a chance to say hi to you. Taj Brown says he fell asleep last night before the live end. That's no good. But at least you're awake now. It's good to see Taj here. And I'm looking at any new comments that might be trickling in. Deborah says we're all tired of winter. I think you're probably right on target. Now my question is, are you on target with the weather trivia? This comes by way of forecaster Derek Getter. One of our first morning weather team members comes up with trivia. We usually will air this at noontime on our broadcast on the TV side. And the question is simple. What are multiple tornadoes produced by a single thunderstorm called? Is it A, tornado family, B, tornado alley, or C, tornado vortex? If you have a question or an answer, give me a shout out. Put the A, B, or C in the comments section. I'll do my best to put you on at least mention you anyway. You'll give you props if you got it right because it's not easy. Some of these questions are inherently challenging. So if it's A, tornado family, B, tornado alley, or C, tornado vortex, what do you think the answer might be? The answer is your guess. What would your guess be? I know Kim likes to throw in a guess there. I'm going to see what she has. Any guesses on this stream yet? I'm just looking at that. Oh, I see C. Norma says C. She thinks it's tornado vortex. That's not a bad guess, Norma. I would say it's not a bad guess, but it actually is family. The tornado family. Come on down. You're the next, is it contestant? No, maybe Family Feud. The tornado family. You could see them coming in and you know, Steve Harvey would be like, dun, 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 the tornado family. Actually, no. This is what it is. When we have a string, as I want to put this back on screen, so if you're just joining us, basically a tornado family is when we have one single thunderstorm, a supercell thunderstorm, but you get a series of tornadoes that are spawned by the same storm. So these families can form a line of succession, and they can be parallel paths, and they can cover a short span or vast distance. So great question. If you got it right, congratulations. I wanted to share something with you that was fun for me because over the past couple of days, I've been sharing with you my Chesapeake City Park. I did not get out there to do a spotlight, but I was out there interviewing some of you. And some of you that might have been in the neighborhood at the time. If you've been there, you know they got some cool marketplaces, a skate park, a dog park, all the rest. Well, I had a chance to talk to our friend Kevin. I'm going to address his question here in just a moment. Let's take a look and listen to Kevin.
Hi, my name is Kevin, and I'm a landscaper. And I was wondering, when is the last frost date, and when is it safe to plant?
Great question, Kevin. The answer is pretty simple. We have to wait till usually early April as far as the last freeze is concerned. You can see that time frame on the screen here. This is ORF, so Norfolk, about St. Patrick's Day. That's not that far away. And usually in the naval, NTU would be the Naval Air Station there in Oceana. That's usually about the 29th of March. But many of the locations are in April, maybe the first week of April for the last freeze. But if you carry it one step further and look at the last frost, usually it could be the second week of April where you probably have more confidence that the frost is finally finished. And that would take you through the 30th of March for Norfolk and Virginia Beach, maybe the 11th. So there's some variability. Some people I've met in my dealings with this type of thing in Knoxville and Philadelphia, some people will just wait because they want to be extra careful. They'll wait until Mother's Day. I know in Rochester where I used to live, it's still snowing on Mother's Day. You're like, wow. So you live by the greenhouses. The greenhouses are very popular the farther north you go. So your growing season very well will likely start in April, but in many cases you probably can have always that wild card where you might have to cover on one occasion, but I don't think it should stop you from getting into the soil. If you're a landscaper, if you're someone with a green thumb, or you like to get out and plant, the time will be probably coming up probably a month from now. In many cases, some of these dates that I was showing you on the screen just would reveal, depends on where you are statistically or geographically. Some places like Wakefield shows about the 26th of April, whereas maybe a lot sooner for Norfolk on March the 30th. Does that help? I hope it does. Taj Brown, guess B. He has not correctly answered that question. Neither did Norma, but Kim had C. Nobody had A. It's fun, interesting. Nobody didn't have tornado family. You'll need to Google tornado family. You'll be impressed. Now you will have some great knowledge. Deborah says, that's great. I want to get my vegetables in the ground, especially not the tornadoes, the tomatoes. Boy, they roll off your tongue. The tomatoes. She says, I want to get them in the ground, especially. I love a good tomato and cucumbers. It reminds me of my grandparents because they were in West Virginia in Huntington and would always have a garden ready to go. But we mentioned, again, the dates. These come by way of the National Weather Service, so you know they're very bona fide and have a long-standing record because records go back to the 1800s with the Weather Service, so you're getting a good potential last frost there on the screen. All right, let's keep moving. You say it's going to get cold, Aldrich, a week from Thursday. Do you have any evidence of that white line coming down? I'd say take a look at it closely. This little white line represents the 32-degree line, right? So you've got really Arctic air up here. And if you're new to this platform, our timestamp's up to the upper right. But if you follow that white line, if it dips below West Virginia, you might say, well, we'd have concern about frost, but it will drop some of the contouring. The warm colors start to retreat by the time we get to the 12th. Look how cold it looks there. Ooh, we had to see some blue in Pennsylvania. So there will be some opportunities, and that's coincidental, I might add, with the blizzard of 93. Who and why would I bring that up? Because every time you get cold air around the middle of March, my East Tennessee followers would always just say, hey, you know what happened then? 1993, big snowstorm. So stranger things have happened. Even that blizzard, you had a 70-degree day the day before, and then you got walloped with some snow. Stranger things have been known to happen. I'm not suggesting or forecasting that, but just know that there is going to be a reason why we like to wait before we put those tomato plants in the ground, because there's always going to be a surprise. Oh, the forecast. It's only the 4th day of March. Give it another month. I think you'll be able to breathe a lot easier for the growing season. I hope that helps. By the way, it's 8:06. If you're just joining us, spring fever continues. Highs will be well into the 70s for most, with the exception of the eastern shore. I mentioned the higher tree pollen. Allergy sufferers take note. And Saturday looks better than Sunday, as we covered a little bit about the showers that will be developing primarily Sunday afternoon. If you're just joining us, I mentioned the 70s are going to be common. Some data would suggest, I'm going to suggest to you that there could be a 4 or 5 degree jump as compared to today. Today we hit 74, so that puts you at 79. I have us at 77. So if we keep outperforming, we could see some lower 80s in this mix over the next 3 days. As the dry ground continues, maybe a little bit of fog. The fog is the wild card. How long does it linger? How long does it last? And do we get that southwesterly wind earlier in the day, as we were already in around 70 degrees, if I'm not mistaken, at noontime today? Let me check. Yeah, it was, it was 69 degrees at noontime today. And I think we'll be probably close to 70, if not 71, at noontime tomorrow. So be prepared for that warmth. Precipitation chances, as you can see illustrated here, does jump up a little bit on Sunday with a 40% chance. That's where I expect to be. And if you follow this little pink or purple area over James Bay, that's the really cold air. It's like trying to peg jello to the wall. It will spin around like a top. So if you look at the upper air pattern a little closer in, you can see those warm contours. That's what we're seeing here in Virginia Beach, right? So we got really warm air on Thursday. That's tomorrow. And it was well advertised on this live stream last week. I said Thursday, March 5th. See if you can get out of work or school. You'll appreciate it, having a nice day. And then it really warms up even on Friday, March the 6th. But then there's a little bit of pullback. And you can see it really dips down, maybe not the 11th, but I said the 12th. There it is. So when you get a day like this, you're going to be lucky to get out of the 50s. So there is that cold air, certainly cold enough for snow in New York, upstate, but here, maybe some rain showers and a bit of a cool pattern. So that's kind of like bursting the bubble when some people will erroneously think that we're in the 70s for good. That's not the case. We're going to get a bit of a pullback by the middle of March, about March the 12th into the 13th, the way it's shaping up in the data. I mentioned that before. By the way, if you haven't downloaded the free First Warning Weather app, I hope you'll do so. Have multiple sources of information. Having a NOAA weather radio is also a great tool to have during severe weather season. Clearly, we've got a lot of severe weather still to talk about in the days to come, weeks to come, because severe weather season typically hits a crescendo in March, April, and May. And you can see if you're in the military, you're like, where's this severe weather? I see and hear some people talking about it. Well, I can zoom into Texas, right? We've got a couple of severe thunderstorms right now in Dallas. If I zoom in, Dallas, Fort Worth, even downtown Dallas, looks like they've got flash flood warnings. What a mess. Flash flood warnings in Dallas, severe thunderstorm till 7:15 Central Time. So yeah, we're off to the races, right? You get humidity, you get a clash of cold air, you're going to get severe weather, and they've had a lot of flooding, it looks like, in Rockwall County in Texas. If you're familiar with this area, maybe you have family in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. There's also some severe weather breaking out in southern Missouri this evening. This is a live look at Wright County until 7:15. Looks like we've got Christian Green and Webster County until 7:30. 1-inch hail, a possibility over here. And if I zoom in a little bit closer to West Virginia, there's some thunderstorms popping, maybe not far from Snowshoe, and sliding into the Commonwealth. Over towards, say, Charleston, leaving Charleston, Beaver, West Virginia, and back into the Commonwealth. We have a couple of showers I mentioned now sliding into home plate, right into Eastern Shore, and that will be passing by pretty quickly tonight. Won't last the whole night. Want to show you where things get interesting. This is a 10-day outlook at the European model because you can look at the macro view. By Friday, we should start to see some snow in the Denver area. Probably will make national headlines. It's snowing in Denver. Yeah, we're going to bask in the warmth while they start to do a switcheroo. They're going to have the cold air and the snow after what we had was a prolonged period of winter. Now we go into, say, Saturday, it looks like this. We go into Sunday, it looks like this. And then we go into next week, it looks like this. So I think we're going to find Monday actually not bad. I say not bad because you'll notice, if I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter here, I don't think, this is representative Monday, I think most of the rain on Monday goes back toward Memphis. I think we're going to get a dry slot here on Monday, and then this is all going to come back in on Tuesday. So I do have a break on the 7-day where Monday is dry, and then we bring in some showers like this on Tuesday. Nothing heavy, nothing torrential. I left just about a 30% chance on Tuesday, but that's part of what's in the cards. And then, oh yes, this is the sobering reality, which would be called the Thursday into Friday, where it's snowing in Snowshoe. It's snowing in Pennsylvania. Ooh, yeah, that's exciting. I'm sure people love that. Or maybe there's a bit of a mix. Oh no, you didn't just say a mix. It's possible. I mean, look at the data. It would suggest it's there. And maybe that comes in on the 13th. Friday the 13th, it's spooky. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain or sleet in Delaware, maybe Salisbury, maybe maybe Matthews or Middlesex County. I can't rule it out. I mean, that's what the data would suggest, but it would look like it's cold enough for snow up here where you could say they can keep it. I'm not interested in any of that. Ooh, I got Taj Brown. He says, ugh, the allergies are kicking in already. I think you're right. I mean, I was choking on my own voice there just a second. Maybe they're kicking in on me too. But tree pollen is certainly on fire. And when you typically have lows in the 50s, which we have, most of us in the extended period, lows in the 50s is a neon sign that tree pollen is going to come alive. You really need to get warm lows to get the pollen to come alive. But this, again, might be an issue heading into the 12th or 13th. This takes us to the 14th. So just wanted to give you some heads up. We'd like to do first warning here so you can get a really bird's eye view of the big picture. 67 current temperature right now in Raleigh. It's 47 DC, it's 55 in Virginia Beach. If you want to know where the real cold air is, I'll show you those purple colors in North Dakota, but until you pop it up there, ooh, negative 15. That's some real cold air. Not expecting that type of reaching us, but it often is modified. As it moves further south, it'll drop some of that cold air down, and we'll be keeping an eye on that. It could certainly affect Bangor, Maine, or Detroit, with some single digits potentially if that happens to come down later next week, but it doesn't look like that big of a trough. Doesn't look like it would last that long. 52 is our dew point in Richmond, 50 in Virginia Beach, and you can see the blue highway of cold air does make a return visit into the Dakotas, into Wisconsin, and then it just kind of reloads a little bit as we head to March 10th, March 11th, gets down into Wisconsin, and if it keeps on keeping on, you'll see some of that really Arctic air in white moving over James Bay, but it gets down to maybe as far south as Minneapolis by the 14th. So again, don't think it's going to be nearly as deep of a trough than what we already had this past winter, because really we're now in meteorological spring with the first day of March behind us. March 10th through the 14th, above normal here. below normal temperatures from the supercomputers are still being projected in the Pacific Northwest. If you have family out there, and near normal in the northern plains states, really from about South Dakota and into southern Minnesota. Just checking in with you. If you got some other comments, I got Taj. Taj says, when's the next rain? If I have this correctly, let me come back on camera. He says, when's the next rain for the 757? This is the only time I care for it. It looks like it's coming in. Taj is going to be coming in on Sunday. Best chance. And it'll be initiated by a cold front that'll cool our temperatures down a little bit. Some may not get out of the upper 60s on Sunday. Some would say we're going to be in the low 70s, depending on the model. But even still, I think it's not that lofty. It'll be about 71, probably on the higher end, and upper 60s on the lower end. But tomorrow, there is still potential for some fog, which again can create drizzle in Bloxham. It can create some foggy and drizzly conditions in Saxis, Chincoteague 58, 65 Onancock, and a high temperature tomorrow. Exmoor 64, while Cape Charles might be a little cooler at 59. If you head further south, Manio, Wanchese have a good chance to hit 70, while it's only 63 in Duck, 68 in Kill Devil Hills and Nags Head, about 66. Rodanthe 67, expecting highs in the lower 60s for both Ocracoke and Hatteras come tomorrow. If you're a fan of severe weather, I don't know who meant too many. Who's a fan of severe weather? Maybe you'd like to know where it's going to be developing. Look no further than these two colors. I've talked about them a lot. Focus on green is isolated, yellow is scattered. So the potential for severe thunderstorms in yellow would be right in the heart of Fort Smith and maybe into Dallas tonight. I believe that is the case, if I'm not mistaken. That's where we have Dallas-Fort Worth. We just saw some severe weather right now. So all of this is arching into Arkansas, southern Missouri at this particular hour. Carbondale, Illinois, Branson, Missouri, scattered severe storms possible right through tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And then it continues to grow, maybe not into Hampton Roads tomorrow, but you can see that we're not done with the severe weather. That continues to grow in Oklahoma, southern sections of Kansas and northern parts of Texas. They've got level 2 from Amarillo to Oklahoma City and areas in southern Kansas. Isolated severe storms through Kansas City all the way down into South Texas in spots. That's Thursday, but Friday, this is just more confirmation of what yours truly was telling you weeks ago. I said we would have an early start to severe weather. If you need more evidence, we're going to level, I think it's level 3. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. We've got 3 levels. And that's a pretty good sign that severe weather is on fire when you've got 3 levels of the third layer is more like enhanced. So you've got numerous severe storms popping up in orange. That would be anywhere from Oklahoma City, Kansas City on Friday. A lot of humidity coming up from the Gulf, so it's all going to converge with the cold air. Springfield, Chicago, you'll hear possible tornadoes. Dallas is still going to be in the crosshairs for the next couple of days. San Angelo, all the way to Chicagoland, possibility for isolated severe storms on Friday. That is not headed here, but if you have travel plans or loved ones in other parts of the country, thought you should know. By the way, tonight, the rain chances look like they're diminishing, but the fog chances will be increasing. 7 a.m. Thursday looks like this. A lot of hyperactivity with the green dots over the ocean. You can probably dismiss that, but low clouds may give way to hazy sunshine tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So low temperatures tonight are pretty close to where we are now. 40 for Chincoteague, 47 for Virginia Beach, 53 for Suffolk and Ahoskie. In the neighborhood of Smithfield, about 50. Chesapeake, 52. And I got 50 in Corolla. Let's see here. Kim Thompson-Jones says, does it take over the live? No, I get them sometimes. Somebody talking about tree pollen, I guess. I'm catching a conversation in stream. That could be my mistake. 52 for a low temperature in Chesapeake. Thursday morning, though, with some fog, many of us will be either in the 50s on the south side, about 45 for the peninsulas to start the day on Thursday, but the afternoon, about mid-60s for a good part of the eastern shore, upper 70s for North Carolina, mid to upper for the south side. So pick out your favorite neighborhood. Williamsburg, 75. By the way, did I mention Williamsburg has the cool Comic-Con this weekend? Yes, the Virginia Peninsula Community College, their Triangle campus, historic Triangle campus has Comic-Con. And you know, people, when you go to Comic-Con, you got to be committed to whatever character you know what I'm saying. But that's going on. You got Monster Jam at Hampton Coliseum. We're talking Gravedigger, El Toro Loco. You know what I'm talking. If you're a Monster Jam kind of guy or gal, just earbuds, you know, I'm thinking maybe earplugs, because it's loud. But you'll have opportunities to get inside. If you want, get outside. I encourage you to enjoy it while you can. Elizabeth City tomorrow should make it up to about 75 degrees. That's where I expect to be in the harbor of hospitality. Let me fly in here and show you again. 63 for Duck, about 59 for Cape Charles. Tomorrow, a pair of 7s for Smithfield, Gatesville, and Hertford, about 76 for Newport News. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. A pair of 7s on Thursday and Friday, 78 Saturday. We move the clocks forward, so it's the 47-hour weekend. And of course, the tree pollen will be noticeable if it isn't already. And one, as I said, the thing you want to be focused on is the fact that we can't get below 50. It's only going to get progressively more bothersome for those of you who are sensitive to tree pollen. If you're not sure that you're sensitive, you might even notice a little, like it looks like a green film just covered your car. If your car is outside in the elements, maybe you're like, man, what is that going on? That would be the tree pollen. So that might be coming on very, very strong in the coming days, as we mentioned. But if you haven't really soaked in the 70s, you got 7 more days to do it. After such time, I think we'll get a big pullback as we head toward Thursday, March the 12th. By the way, did I share with you some cool pictures? Oh, I love this. This is from Betty Burton, our WTKR photographers Facebook group from Gloucester Point Beach. Really, really cool picture. As Kurt Williams had noted, please don't stand under the birds. You know what I'm saying? But they're in flight. You gotta love it. It was a little foggy the other day, a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, I believe. Huntington Beach in Newport News. Bradley capturing more birds, but it just looks so tranquil, serene, in fact. Serenity, looking at this picture, Bradley. Thank you for sharing that with us. And last but not least, today's sunrise at Matthews is spectacular. Love seeing this. Charles Powers, thank you for sharing that with us. It helps lift our mood. If we're not getting out as regularly as we hope we could, these pictures do help. I indeed will echo that very thought. Another beautiful look here in Matthews. So that's where we are at the moment. By the way, as we look at the radar again, one quick look, and then we'll look at the 7-day one more time. But I want to show you the radar at this moment. It looks like we're going to get more rain up toward Matthews, because Matthews is just northeast or east of Gloucester there. But you can see, I believe, Gwen's Island, possibly going to get some sprinkles here in the next little few minutes. There's Gwen's Island. So a couple of sprinkles might roll through Matthews County and slide across the eastern shore here in the next half hour to 60 minutes or so. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. 77 tomorrow, 77 on Friday. By the way, speaking of 7, you know, for $7.99, you could have a one-topping pizza from Marco's. You get $1 off if you use the promo code WTKR M799. I don't believe there's a limit. I mean, you could go maybe you have a party going on at your house. The best deals are given to our First Warning Live viewers. $7.99. Check it out. I think you'll be impressed, as I am, because most of us, we don't want to pay a big price for pizza, but it's great pizza. Marcos.com. There are 6 locations where you can use this promo code. WTKR M799. These 6 locations are on your screen. I'm thrilled to announce that tomorrow we're going to have some winners. We're going to give away 22 pizzas in essence tomorrow in certificate form. 12 will go to one viewer, and then 10 individual pizzas will go out the door. But there are 2 locations in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk, but the 3 in Virginia Beach, all with the 757 phone number, are easily reachable at Virginia Beach Boulevard, Princess Anne Road, and Independence Boulevard. Check them out. If you haven't tried or haven't discovered that you could win the pizza for a year certificate, we've been doing this since last May, and we've given hundreds and hundreds of pizzas away in that time, and dozens of these certificates have gone out the door. The Pizzoli is like having a Stromboli or a calzone. Delicious. The pepperoni and sausage is my favorite, but if you want to do a medium pepperoni magnifico with the old World Cup or old style pepperoni, it's like little cups there, they're awesome. You can get $7.99 magnifico using that promo code tonight. And just to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. I got a final note here. It looks like I'm just reading. Taj says, I feel the tree pollen in my head first annually, then it progresses. That might be the case. It might get progressively worse. Kim Thompson-Jones saying beautiful pictures. I thought they were indeed. I'm always impressed by the great photographers we have, but it doesn't, it helps to have a great canvas, and we have one here in Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina. So if you're watching us from another state, a nearby state, come visit us this spring and summer. We would love to see you. Anyway, my name is David Aldrich. Don't forget, doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or warm, doesn't matter if it's cold and dreary. Every day we're on this planet is a gift, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not even guaranteed the rest of tonight. But I will say this: you can't change yesterday, but you can change tomorrow. Make your neighborhood a better place. We're all we got. We're all we got. So make the best of it. And we'll see you here tomorrow night with some winners. Pizza from Marco's. Take care.